My biggest art fight yet. Who am I? Why should you care? What's Artfight? I'm glad you asked. Hi, I'm Atlas. I'm a random artist on the internet. Oh, why should you care? If you stick around, I've got cool art. Maybe you're interested. I don't know. In this video, I'm going to talk about my 2024 Artfight experience as a whole, review how it affected my art progression, and lastly, do a rundown on all my attacks, including my final stats and time spent. What's Artfight? Well, I'm sure if you're active on Art YouTube, you've already been bombarded by the multitude of preparing for Artfight videos and other Artfight tips. So I'll try to make this brief. Artfight is an annual art trading game where you choose to be on one of the two teams featured. You draw the OCs of random individuals on the opposite team for points. For less points, you can draw OCs owned by the people on your own team. These drawings are called attacks. You can also draw characters of the people who have already attacked you. These are called revenges. At the end of the month of July, the points are accumulated and added up, and one team reigns victorious. This year's teams were Seafoam vs Stardust, and as the thumbnail suggests, I chose Stardust. Now, with that out of the way, I want to talk about the significance of Artfight's popularity this year. Commence the speed paints. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I've seen a lot of people back me up on this, so I feel comfortable that it's pretty accurate. Artfight got way more popular this year, in part because of its spread on TikTok. I'm not here to comment on the TikTok art community, that's a topic for another video, or spread a gross gatekeepy sentiment on the newcomers to Artfight. I'm here to do quite the opposite. I've seen such an awesome boom in the Artfight community this year. It was a huge factor in my own motivation going into the event. In the past, yes, there's been hype, but it didn't feel as impactful as it did this year. And of course, with its boom in popularity, it comes with its downsides, mainly people being a little entitled for free art. But that's always been a problem in Artfight, and I think it's just been a bit more front and center because of the growth and the newcomers who aren't quite akin to how Artfight is meant to run. But overall, the growth has been a net positive, and I hope this event continues to grow. Despite the website crashes at the beginning of the event, but isn't that part of the gift of Artfight? Preparing for Artfight this year. Now, I've never been much of an OC guy, at least in comparison to some artists. I tend to make more fan art. Yeah, I've got a toy house and I've got some characters with stories, but I've always went into Artfight with just enough OCs to fill that little featured character list. And I think that's totally fine, but honestly the lack of choices in the previous years, as well as my lack of connection to my own characters, really barred my excitement for Artfight as a whole. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved receiving art of the characters I had listed. There was just a lack of strong fuel for motivation. Now, that was different this year. In part because of my recent reintroduction into the furry fandom, I had a lot of new characters that I felt such strong connections to. I just love my silly little animal characters. To name a few, we have Indy and Orion, the kind of mascots in this channel, if you've watched the other two animations I've posted, my persona, who you're probably seeing now on the screen, Doormat, 3 characters from my East Hollow OC universe, and some other silly little guys that I just adore. I'd like to touch on my connection to the furry fandom in another video, but for now I just want to say how much I love how prominent the fandom is in this event, and how much more enjoyable I found it when I embraced that fact. The last thing before I go over my stats is my experience with art progression after and during the event. I see Artfight as a huge opportunity to fine-tune my skills, streamline my processes, and step out of my comfort zone. Now, I may have been a little ambitious when bookmarking characters in preparation. I didn't end up getting to all I had planned, but I've definitely seen a huge improvement in my speed and output when it comes to Artfight. I submitted the most attacks of all the years I've ever participated in Artfight, with honestly the most high quality submissions I've ever been able to produce. I really like a lot of the art I made this year, and I'm just so much more comfortable with my own art style and the wide range of characters I was able to draw. Artfight helps me fill my portfolio and fuels me to continue my improvement in the future. Now, probably the thing most of you have been waiting for. Stats. As you may have noticed, I've had some speed paints of a select few attacks running in the background. For time's sake, here's my attacks of the 2024 Artfight event while I tell you a bit about my final statistics. I ended up earning my team a total of 917.75 points. I submitted 24 attacks. My battle ratio was 66.67%, and I spent a total of 43.81 hours, all the pieces combined. I have to calculate the hours still. My bad. The amount of points I earned this year was a whopping 57% of all my points combined, and out of my 41 total attacks, the aforementioned 20 of them were from this year. A huge shout out to all the people who attacked me this year. Their names will be up on the screen now. I just love all the art you guys made. If you want to check out their art, put their name into this part of the Artfight URL. You can check out their accounts, and the same thing goes for mine. I hope to see you guys again in future videos, so if you want to stick around, maybe consider subscribing and following me on other socials. I make art videos and animations, and I guess videos like this now. So, thanks for watching, bye!